everyone, this is Sarah and welcome to our live video chat. Now you'll notice I have a calendar sitting here. That's because we're having another calendar giveaway, and we're also going to talk a little bit about how to crochet with these fuzzy wuzzy blanket yarns. I love those fuzzy wuzzy blanket yarns. All right, just to be clear, every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, I try to do a live video chat on the Facebook page, Posh Pooch Designs. And then later on, after I've tweaked it a bit, I post it over to YouTube. So when you watch it on YouTube, it's not live. If you want to see the live and be a part of the live video, you need to watch it on the Posh Pooch Designs Facebook page. Good morning. I see a bunch of you already clinking in. Hi, Stacy and Kimberly. Hi, Susie and Aurora and Kimberly. Hey, Aurora, did you get your box yet with your calendar? All right, let's talk a little bit about the calendar. And it was kind of funny. I got a couple of questions this week that said, hi, Tina, that said, do you feel like you're in competition with some of the other crocheters that have YouTube channels? And the truth of the matter is, I don't. The crochet community is such a close-knit community. We keep track of each other, we help each other, and we are more of a team. We are a bunch of women and men who love to crochet and share our patterns with you all, and so we're a close-knit team. Sure, we might be in a little competition, but not really, because we want to see everyone who is a crochet designer succeed. And I would say that that is true for most of the crochet designers that I know. So I thought I would clear that up first. We're a team. All right, let me say hello to a few more of you that clinked in. All right, I see Carol and Tina and Marlene and Alicia and Jennifer, and there's Tina Louise. I always tell her I love her name because to me it reminds me of Gilligan's Island, which reminds me of my childhood. All right, so let's talk about today's calendar giveaway. So the way this giveaway is going to work is I'm going to give it away to somebody who comments over on the YouTube channel. You can all be a part of it that are here on Facebook. Once the video is over on YouTube, just comment over there, and I have a question I'm going to ask you, and you just answer that question, okay? And the question is, just because I'm super duper curious of what people like, comment over on the YouTube channel once it's over there what your favorite brand of yarn is. And I'm really curious about this because I'll do something with Lion brand yarns and someone will say, well, don't you like Red Heart? And then I'll do a pattern with Red Heart and someone will say, well, don't you like Bernat? Or I'll do something with a Bernat blanket or something, and they'll say, well, have you ever tried Vanna's Choice? Or have you ever tried the Walmart brand? Or have you ever tried, so I would love to know what your favorite brand of yarn is and why. You can comment here if you want to, but in order to win or be in the running for the next crochet calendar giveaway, you're going to need to comment over on the YouTube page. Now, what we'll do is we'll leave it up there. You can comment all week. You can comment a couple of times if you want to. You may think, oh, I love Red Heart, and then go back and go, no, I think Lion Brand's my favorite, and why. So what you can do is just comment over there, and then next Monday night about 10:30, 11 o'clock before I go to bed, we'll do that little random thing. We'll pick someone off the YouTube channel that's commented, and then I'll tell you the winner next Tuesday. Okie dokie artichokes. I always say that to my granddaughter. And then I'll say, see you later, alligator. And she'll say, after a while, crocodile. And then when she leaves for the day, she always goes, see ya, don't want to be ya. I don't know why I think that's so funny. All right, well, yes. Remember last week, Kimberly asked me, did you get your hair cut? Remember last week I said I just did not like the way it was laying. So I went back to the young man that cuts my hair. He does a fantastic job. Really nice young man. I always tell him he looks like he's about 12 because he looks so young. Of course, I'm, And so to me, he looks so young, but he always does such a good job. And then he always does like a hot oil treatment, so my hair's super shiny the next day. Although it'll be greasy by this evening, I'll have to wash it. But yes, I got my hair recut and I like it a lot better. All right, before we go any farther and have our discussion about the blanket yarns, everybody clink in, and I'm super duper happy about this one. Check out this mug I picked up. Is this not the cutest thing? Well, my granddaughter Zoe had her birthday. She turned 6. And she came over and spent the day with me last Friday afternoon. And we decided to have ourselves a little unicorn party of our own, just for fun. And we made some silly, colorful cupcakes. And I went to King Super, which is a Kroger brand, if you don't have a King Super. I love the store. It's just really set up great. And they had a sale. They were selling these buy one, get one free. So I got her one, and I thought, buy one, get one free. I want one too. And I love it. And look at the tail. The tail's a rainbow. I love that. Isn't that beautiful? It's really heavy duty and thick. And it's really huge inside. My whole big cup of coffee, the great big one, like this, it fit in this cup. Of course, it's half gone now. All right, let me set that aside. Let's get into our conversation about blanket yarn. Did everybody clink in? Make sure I say hello to some of you I missed. Let's see, Tammy, Amberly, Leslie, Karen. Let's see, Mary, it's good to see you here. Terry, Christina, Tracy. Okay, Aurora said she did get her calendar. Good job. I'm glad it gets there. I always worry. I've never had any trouble ever, except one time, and it was my fault. There was a trouble with the address using United States Post Office Service. And I love using those little boxes that are the, I don't know what you call those. They're just little boxes, and you can stick them in there, and they're a set price. And the calendar fits perfect in there. And then I always try to put a little surprise in there on the side. So if you win the calendar, you're going to also get a little surprise in there from me. All righty, let's see. There's Jerry and Grace. So make sure I'm saying hello to everyone. Angie, Sandra. I'm going through really fast. Esther, Jennifer, Missy, Angie. Let's see. Stacy says, oh, off to King Supers. I had never heard of King Supers until we moved up here. And we've been up here about 7 years now in Parker, Colorado. And down south, we have Walmarts and we have your basic Safeways and all that. But I had never heard of a King Super. And we moved up here, they built this huge one. Excuse me for my coffee. And I just love it. It even has a little jewelry department in there that's just beautiful. And I've never bought anything, but I sure have looked. So, and it's kind of interesting because sometimes I'll find things there that I wasn't able to find at like Walmart or Target or, let's see, we have another store. What is the other store I go to? Oh, Sprouts. I go to Sprouts for my veggies. All right, let's get into our conversation. I'm going to pop my glasses on for just a second. All right, so here's the question that I've been getting lately. I purchased some of this beautiful number 6 yarn. And this one is Bernat Blanket. Here's the label. Okay, it's Bernat Blanket Stripes. It's a number 6. And they're trying to crochet with this big yarn, and they're just struggling. And one of the problems is it doesn't have a lot of stretch. And if you pull it, a lot of times it breaks. And not just this blanket yarn, but lots of other blanket yarns as well. I'm going to come down over to the other cam so that y'all can see. Let me move my coffee out of the way there. And I'll move the calendar also. All right, so we have this beautiful blanket yarn, and there's lots of things that you can make with blanket yarn besides just blankets. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But it can be very frustrating. I want to give you just a few tips about crocheting with this. Now, knitting is different, and I've never knit with this blanket yarn, so I can't give you any tips about knitting. So this is the way I look at it. I went in, I found this beautiful yarn. I love the colors, and now I can't do a thing with it, right? So the best thing to do is I think this one calls for, let's look at what the label says. It calls for an L crochet hook, and you can see it's an 8mm. Well, I like to use the P. The P hook is an 11.5 millimeter. And the reason is because when you're crocheting with this stuff and you're trying to get it to move, the other hook is just too small. And you need to be able to pull it. And if you have to tighten it up, you can. But it's just the way that it works. It's better to use a bigger crochet hook. Now, this is just their recommendation. And remember, any yarn that you buy has a recommendation for the size of crochet hook that you need. Hi, Trish. I see you just popped in there. And I love it when people do that. Just pop in. Okay, so if you're using this blanket yarn, this is a number 6. A lot of the blanket yarns can be 5 as well, but I recommend you go up to a bigger hook size. It just makes it a little bit easier, especially when you're doing stitches. Let's turn this, and you're trying to find your stitches, and this stuff has no stretch, and you go in trying to get your stitches, and it can be just a little bit clumsy, and that is the nature of the blanket yarn. There's no stretch, so it's hard to get your stitch in. And so I do recommend that you go up, to make it a little easier on yourself, to go up a hook size. The other thing is, when you're crocheting, you do need to loosen up your tension just a bit. You know, we're used to stitching tightly and, you know, pulling that loop tight and getting in that stitch and pulling it tight. And you need to just loosen it up a little. Loosen up the loop on your hook and just go with it. You don't want to be fighting like this. See, I'm fighting to get that in there. You don't want to be fighting every stitch, or you're not going to want to work with this yarn. If you're having to fight every stitch, you're better off loosening up a little bit, having nice, a little bit bigger loops to work with. And then when you pull your loop through, loosen up a little. And the fuzz helps to fill in the holes. If you're worried about holes, the fuzz on it does help to fill in the holes. So we're going to go up a hook size, and we're going to loosen our tension just a little bit. But one of the most important things, in my opinion, about this yarn is don't try to do tricky, intricate stitches. In other words, this yarn really does not work well if you're going to do stitches that take a lot of fanciness. Like, for instance, the crocodile stitch. You're going to stitch down, you're going to have to turn, stitch back up to make that stitch, and then do it again. And it's really, really complicated. And a lot of times, if you're doing like shell stitches and all different kinds of fancy stitch techniques, they just get lost in the pattern. Okay, so you need to make sure whatever you're doing, that it's a stitch that's not going to get lost in the fuzz of the yarn. All right. Now, there are a lot of patterns out there for intricate stitches that you can do. But I just recommend that you don't do ones that have lots of twists and turns and all kinds of things that are going to get lost in the stitches. Hello, Helen. I didn't see you pop in. Looks like Sandra popped in as well. All right. So just to review just a little bit, it's easier with the blanket yarn if we go up a hook size or 2. It's easier if we loosen up our tension just a smidge. And it's also better if we don't try to do those super duper tricky stitches. Another thing that you need to do is really take your time. Don't be trying to go so fast, because this stuff is horrible to frog. And frogging, of course, is pulling those stitches out, because it all gets caught on the fuzz. And make sure you've got a little bit of time where you can concentrate. Loosen up a little. Loosen up a little. Talk to yourself. All right. And just take your time, making sure you loosened your tension, and just take a little bit of time. Slow down. This probably would not be a good thing to take in the car or someplace you're going to feel a little bit tense. But if you're going to go on, say, a camping trip or on vacation, and you're just going to relax in the hotel, go ahead and take it. Just make sure you slow down a little bit and take your time. And the last thing about this stuff is don't get frustrated. If you're working with it and you get mad, take a break. Put it in the naughty corner for a while, whatever you're working on, and then come back to it. Don't let it frustrate you. All right? I'm going to come back up to the top cam. Pop off those glasses. All right. When I first started working with the blanket yarn, I wanted to throw it in the trash. I really, really did. And as I began working with it and realized if I just go up a hook size or two, if I just loosen my stitches just a smidge and take my time, it went a lot smoother. I tend to be a really, really, really fast crocheter because I always feel like I have so much I have to get done because I have so many patterns to do and I have so many different things that need to be tested and all of that stuff. And I want to get it done and get it out to my testers and then get it back and, you know, get it out there to you guys because I loved making it so much. And I had to learn to slow down a little bit when it came to working with the blanket yarns. Hello, Cindy and Rhonda and Janice. I see you've all popped in. All right, now a couple of things that you can do that work great with blanket yarn, of course, is stuffies. And here's a fun little stuffy I made. Basic crochet stitches. There is a pattern out there for this if you want to make one. It's just a little skein of yarn. My granddaughter and I use them for weights and goof around with it. Something else that you can make that works really well with the blanket yarn is the granny stitch. And this is just a large granny square that I added a little teddy bear on top to make a lovey. This yarn works perfect with the granny square because you can loosen up your gauge, you've got nice big holes, and you can see what you're doing, all right? And another thing I did was this fish, and you'll notice in the center of it, it does have a little bit of shell stitches, but I did loosen it up. And there's patterns for all three of those things. And then, of course, I've made many blankets. There's a blanket over there. That yellow red thing is just a wave pattern. And one of the things that I learned is when you're working with blanket yarn also, and you know, I talk about don't do the intricate and crazy stitches. There are some stitches, like the shell stitch or the wave stitch, which is like 2 single crochets, 2 half doubles, 2 singles, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and then you go back down. And it's just a wave pattern. It works great. It's not too intricate, but you get a really nice looking blanket. So don't be afraid to use the blanket yarn. There's lots of fun things that you can make with the blanket yarn. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Oh, I dropped my calendar. Here I am. I dropped it off the table and it rolled all the way over there. All right, I just wanted to say again what's going on with our calendar giveaway today for those of you that popped in just a little bit late. You can always watch the beginning of the video again, but I just wanted to make sure everybody understands this is the calendar giveaway we're doing this week. It's got over 100 crochet patterns, and some of them are mine. So anyway, how you can get in on winning this is once the video is popped over on YouTube, because last week we did a Facebook giveaway. This week we're doing a YouTube giveaway. And my goal is to be fair because not everyone's on Facebook and not everyone's on YouTube. So I try to be fair and give everybody a chance. And the way you can win or get in on the winning for this is over on YouTube. The question is, tell me what's your favorite brand of yarn and why. And then next Tuesday, we'll reveal the winner that we picked randomly. Alrighty? In next week's live video. So that is the giveaway in case you missed out on that at the beginning of the video. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, remember we talked about how the crochet hooks have changed. Well, I purchased a new end hook yesterday because I couldn't find my end hook and I need it for another project. And yes, I have several. But I really, really wanted the Metal Boy one. B-O-Y-E. Okay, so I got home and I found my old one. So here's my old one. And let me pop on my glasses because this just annoyed me. The one that I had is an N9.00 millimeter. Okay, so then I get home with this N one and you can see the size is different. See how much bigger this one is? And this end hook is a 10.00 millimeter. So boy makes 2 end hooks. Let me show you this down here. There's an N. I'm trying to do this so I can get the glare off of it. 9 millimeter and an N that's a 10 millimeter. So beware of that. So that means now I was in the middle of the project. I lost that hook. And if I found my old one, it was basically stuck down in. It was stuck down in the yarn. But basically, if I didn't find my old one and I wanted to use my new one, I would have to adjust my tension. So keep that in mind with crochet hooks, okay? I know we talked about that, I think last week, was it? And then I went and it happened to me. So, and it annoys me. It really, really does that they changed those hooks. All right, so let's talk about what's happening or what happened this week at Posh Pooch Designs. Now, some of you sent me some amazing pictures of our crochet along, and this was the crochet along. This is my silly coffee cup. Try to turn him around so you can see him. Pillow. And there was also instructions to how to make a hat, and there were 2 sizes. And so I want to thank you all who sent me pictures. If you haven't posted any pictures, you can post them on my Posh Pooch Design page, or you can post them in the PPD Puppy Love Crochet group. Both of those are fine. And that was super fun to make. I had so much fun doing that. And someone said, you wore the same shirt in every video. I said, that's because I did it all. And I put the shirt back in my closet each day. And then I wore the same shirt, so I would have the same shirt on every picture. It's in the laundry now, don't worry. But I didn't wear it all day. I just wore it for when I was doing the video. So I try not to wear my shirts all week, okay, people? Alrighty, let's see. I'm just checking. Let's see. I see Nancy and Desiree and Helen and Peace and Carrie. Making sure I grab everybody. Alrighty, I might have missed a few. Let me go back and look. So I want to say hello to everybody. Alright, I think we got it. Alright, now some of you that are tuning in just a little bit late, it's no problem. You know, the videos are always on Facebook, and you can always go back and watch whatever ones that you want to. You can share them all over the place if you want to. It doesn't matter. I'm totally cool with that. Okay? So we did the crochet along this week. And yesterday we did the Fair Isle shoulder bag. And this is the Fair Isle shoulder bag. It's made with Red Heart Super Saver Fair Isle yarn. This is not the one I used, but this is what it looks like. I really love this. It's super cool yarn. It's got long stripes. You can see how it's got some long stripes of color. And it also has short stripes. And it kind of gives you like what I would call a faux Fair Isle look. The original Fair Isle has to do, was in knitting patterns. And you can do that with crochet as well. It's a little more complicated. And so they came out with this yarn. And it's really cool. This one that I did is called Parrot. And it was my favorite because I like that bright teal and bright green and yellow in there. And then this one here is called Calm Fair Isle, that has the gray and the blue. And I also have something I'm going to do with this. But when I did the video, I felt like that the yarn was too busy. And so I went ahead and did it in this beige and just put a really super cool button on it. I did shorten the handle. Oh, there we go. But it's got a really neat pattern stitch to it. And I really, really love it. And it's a great size for maybe putting your wallet in your phone, or if you carry a backpack to work or to school, and you just want to have a bag that has your phone in your purse or maybe a tablet or something in it. It's a great size for that. It measures about 8 by 8, but you can make it as long as you want to. You know, the pattern, you just repeat the pattern as long as you want to. And I put that pattern and video out yesterday. And it's had some pretty good reviews on it. I'm trying, someone said to me, you're Posh Pooch Designs, and you don't hardly ever do any dog patterns anymore. And I do some. I've been trying to do 1 or 2 a month. And the reason is the patterns that I do, a lot of times they're requests for something, or someone said, I've got this yarn, I don't know what to do with it, and I might have a pattern that I can do with it. Sometimes some of the videos that I do are patterns that I did a long time ago, and I'm doing them with some fresh new kinds of yarn. And so I do that as well. All right, so I try to keep it both ways. Mary, you didn't miss the pattern video. The pattern pillow video will always be on YouTube. You can go to Ravelry and save it on your Ravelry, which is true of any of my patterns. If you want to save a pattern, just go to Ravelry and save it in your favorites, and it'll always be there. When my patterns are free, they stay free. And you'll also notice that sometimes I also put them on Craftsy for a small fee, and that's just because we've done a PDF file and set it up so that if you want it without any ads or anything, because on the blog there's a few ads, sometimes you have to click them off to get through it. And so some people have asked for that. So my goal here is to try to please as many people as possible. And that's why a lot of times I'll do a photo tutorial, I'll do a written pattern, and I'll do a video so that it kind of reaches as many different people, because not everyone wants a video, not everyone wants the written pattern, and not everyone really needs pictures. So I try to do it in such a way that as many people as possible can work the pattern. Alrighty. All right, I'm just checking back through. Hi, Vicki. Looks like we have Patty and Jacinta, Liz. All right, Joy Bell. What a nice name. I like that. All right, so. Okay, Kimberly's talking about she would like an extra small dog sweater tutorial. Now, I have a ton of dog sweater patterns that are on Ravelry. They're not free. But I do have a pattern that I'm getting ready to do, and it's going to be a pattern that will work for any size dog. It's a matter of measuring your dog, and I'm probably going to do that at the end of next month, okay? Because I have had a lot of people ask me for that particular thing, okay? All right, Patty asked me, where did I get the yarn? Now, I got it from Red Heart. They sent it to me, the Fair Isle, but I've also seen it at Joann Fabrics. Okay, I've not seen it at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or Walmart. My Walmart just reset their whole thing, and they have a lot of new things in there, and they're carrying some of the other brands as well as Walmart brands for yarn, but they didn't get the Fair Isle in. But I did see it at Joann Fabrics, if you have a Joann's. And someone told me if you have an AC Moore, that it's there also, but I don't have one. I wish I did, but I don't. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you is this Super Saver Stripes. I purchased this at Walmart, and I'm so excited about it because the gray and white and black are one of my favorite. For some reason, it's one of my favorite color combinations, and so I've got something I'm going to make for the guys with this set, because I can't help it. I always concentrate more on like women's hats and fancy things. And so I had a couple of guys go, hey, are you making anything for us guys? So I got a dude pattern I'll do for that. I really like to try to make scarves and hats that can be for men or women. You just add a bow or don't, or you know, add a fringe or not, you know, because sometimes it just has to do with the style and the color of yarn that you choose, whether it can work for a man or a woman, you know. And of course, it's just preference. Everybody has a different preference. All right. I see Rosie and Marie. I'm trying to make sure I say hello to everybody. So anyway, all right. So one other thing I just wanted to, let's see. I talked about that. Oh, I know what it was. The other day I got a message, and the lady said, do you mind if I call you by Sara? And I said, no, that's great, actually. My name is Sara. And so she was a wonderful lady. She was old school and didn't know if she should call me Mrs. Sach. Okay, so I am over 50. And I view all of you all as my friends. And, you know, I know they're called fans on Facebook, but you're my friends. And anytime you send me a message or an email or, you know, a message on Ravelry or a comment, always feel free to call me Sara. Sarah's my first name. Someone asked me the other day who you named after. I said, I have no idea. There are no other Sarahs in our family that I know of. So who knows? But anyway, surely you can call me Sarah. All right, well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope that if you came in towards the end, you'll watch the beginning where we talked about the calendar and the Burnett fuzzy yarn. And don't let, not just Burnett, but any of the blanket yarns, don't let them frustrate you. And my theory is this: there isn't a yarn I can't work with. I just have to learn how, you know. Some, like the fuzzy yarns that have the eyelash yarns and a lot of those different things, they might be a little complicated, but they're not going to beat me. So yeah, don't give up. Keep trying. And even if all you do is a simple blanket with a single crochet, no problem. Oh, another stitch that works fantastic with the blanket yarn is the corner to corner block stitch. I know we talked about that last week. And I'm putting on some finishing touches, and I'm hoping maybe the end of this week or maybe next week I can get that video ready for the corner to corner block stitch tutorial. And what I want to do with that is I want to teach you how to do the block stitch corner to corner, and how to make it a square, how to make it a rectangle, and also how to make it a triangle, and you know, how to put some trim on it, things like that. Questions that I get often and about the corner to corner. And so maybe I can do the video and answer all the questions in like one video. Alrighty. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope everyone took a second and clinked in. And I'm so glad that you all meet with me every Tuesday. It means a lot to me. I love reading your comments, and I always go back after the video and I reread all the comments. And if there's a question in there, I try to answer it. And sometimes you guys give me such a chuckle with some of the fun things that you say. And last but not least, remember this: I'm thankful for you all, because I couldn't do this without you. Everybody have a great day, and I'll see you next week.